So there I was, no shit. I was getting ready for the Marvel Comics solicitations video Patreon exclusive for December of 2023. And I looked at the prices and I thought, this is absolutely insane. And I knew we had to talk about it right here on the Geek Fix podcast exclusive to Patreon with my good friend Aaron Sparrow. How you doing, Aaron?
I am doing well. I need a shave, man. I'm looking very hobo.
Yeah, I'm starting to look a little rough around the edges too, but I can pull it off. You know what I mean?
You think so? Maybe we just need to go.
Well, I might not be like MVP sexy, but I still got it.
Yeah, maybe we just need to go get go get a Groupon and go do a spa day.
I'd do it. I haven't had a foot detail in a long time.
Yeah, Patreon exclusive beautification of Wes and Aaron stream.
So we got to talk about these Marvel prices. I was shocked. I hadn't done a solicitation video in a very long time because it turns out that format really doesn't work for YouTube. But I found a home for it on the Patreon, obviously. It was about 45 minutes or an hour, and I was doing the numbers. And it's absolutely insane what happened to Marvel Comics when I wasn't paying attention. Marvel in December releasing 65 new comic books. 10 of those are number one issues for a total of $60. So on average, a number one issue from Marvel Comics is $6. And then on average, just every comic book, if you average it out, is $4.75, creeping very, very close to the $5 price point. And I went through and I looked at the numbers. Of the 65 comic books Marvel are producing, only 30 of them are priced $3.99. Over half the line is $5 and above now, Aaron. It's a crisis on our hands now.
And what are they producing that you could even reasonably ask any of your customers to spend that money on? Much less the retailers. The retailers are expected to absorb all this. 60 books at those price points. This is another reason that the industry is collapsing. They don't have any ideas. They're losing readers because they refuse to course correct and hire good writers and tell good stories. So what do they have to do? They have to make up the losses by gouging the remaining customers. All you do is drive away more customers and then have to raise prices more. This is a death spiral that we're witnessing. And
it's crazy because we know C.B. Cebulski don't get out of his chair for much. But apparently the pre-orders on God's Number One, which I believe debuted this week, which is a $10 comic book, were so low that he was out there cold calling comic book shops that he would have expected to order higher and almost begging them to look at the PDF and hopefully go in there and actually invest in the comic book. Because even retailers are fed up. They're like, I cannot just risk $10 a pop on these things that no one's going to buy.
Isn't it fantastic that, all of a sudden, Marvel wants to listen to retailers. Marvel wants to reach out to retailers. Retailers have been screaming for years. They've been saying, like, we can't sell this. This isn't good. You're not delivering product that we can move. Our customers are leaving. And Marvel has ignored them, called them names, sent people out to attack anybody who says anything like that. Bleeding Cool articles talking about how, the racist retailers at the conference, complaining about this and that and the other. All these things that they've done. And now all of a sudden, because they can't sell God's Number One for $10, C.B. Cebulski has to get on the phone and actually care about the customers.
Now he wants feedback. Now that people are so fed up, they're not even risking it anymore for Marvel Comics. And the only characters that you can buy for $4 right now really are the Incredible Hulk. He's the one solo character that's that. And then every single X-Men comic book is $4 other than Wolverine at this point. Kind of shows you where X-Men has followed to. But anything associated with Spider-Man, like Black Panther, Captain America, any of those type of premier characters, they're all at a minimum $5. If you look at their Star Wars line, which absolutely sucks donkey dicks, let's be honest with that, their Star Wars comic books absolutely suck. The minimum price, $5.
Yeah, none of these comics are worth the price of admission. And you're just going to see retailers cut back orders even more. They're going to look for other avenues. At this point, paying $5 for a Marvel comic book as a retailer because they're offering $10 books, and you're not even probably getting that discount anymore because a lot of shops, ever since all the distribution has moved around, don't hit those thresholds. So maybe they get 30% off. And then if they offer a comics club, they're offering you 10 or 20% off. What are they making? 10% off? So on a book that they spent $5 on, they're making 50 cents, maybe $1. That investment is not worth it, especially when those things are easily damaged. They're going to sit on the shelf. Nobody's going to buy them. You're investing in these variant cover schemes, hoping that you can sell that one book for a premium to cover the cost of all the other crap, and then maybe you break even. It's a losing proposition. I'm telling you, retailers, take that money, buy anime statues instead. Dedicate that floor space for new comics to anime statues, and your business will be in much better shape.
So you're not saying that just as a guest. You actually work with several local comic book shops in your area. When they had an epiphany, they had a decision to make, and they decided, maybe I just won't invest in new comic books at all. And I think more retailers are going to decide that's probably the answer.
When you look at what you're paying for square footage for your shop, and then you break down what the amount of room that you have to devote to comics and what your profit margin is versus the amount of real estate that you could put something that would sell and make you a better profit margin, I think that anybody who does that analysis is probably going to move away from new comics.
There's just this enormous talent vacuum at Marvel Comics right now. They really don't have any headliners left. They had Donny Cates, who I don't even know what happened to him. It seems like he lost his mind, was in a car accident, and now they no longer have him to prop up a few titles that normally wouldn't sell. They're not really A-listers. You could count on Donny Cates to do that. They have nobody really left. They actually have 3 comic books in December that they're selling for $6.99. And these are the names associated with them, Aaron. This is absolutely insane. Colin Kelly, Jackson Lanzig, Utkarsh Umbakar, Robbie Thompson, Jason Concepcion, Mark Guggenheim, Charles Soule, Greg Pak, Mark Bernardine, and Kevin Scott. Where's the name that actually makes me want to spend $7 on anything? Should there be quality associated with the $7 comic book?
Yeah, there definitely should. I mean, if you're charging a premium price, you should be delivering a premium product. So who's the artist on it? Is the writer a name? Does the writer have a track record of success? I think maybe the most successful name on that list is, or the most well name is maybe Mark Guggenheim. But
well, I assume it's Greg Pak because of his Hulk work.
How long ago was World War Hulk? That was like 2005.
It's been a while.
So, that was like in the early 2000s. I mean, it was almost 20 years ago, back before he was, Asian writer Greg Pak, when he was just Greg Pak. And how long can you live off of that? And what has he done in the last 20 years that's been anywhere close to
Gogurt
that
Hulk
level
was
of
pretty
success?
groundbreaking stuff there, Aaron. Remember, he did Planet Hulk again, but with Gogurt Hulk.
Yeah, and it was just as popular, right? We're still talking about it. Oh, well. World War Gogurt Hulk. That's a good time.
Whoever thought that was a good idea?
They made a figure of that character recently, and it's a Build-A-Figure. They actually think you're going to buy the entire Captain Marvel movie line to build Gogurt Hulk. It's the worst miscalculation of all time.
Well, I think the worst miscalculation was probably just making a toy line around that movie. Don't you think?
I think it's going to be rough. I think Ollie's is getting a whole lot of new stock in the very near future.
They're raising prices as people kind of walk away once they realize the quality isn't there. And yes, that is happening. But the other thing that's also happening is they only get a bump on issue number 1. Basically, everyone drops off by issue number 3 because it's all a speculator bump. So they're just rebooting and repackaging it down to a number 1 issue over and over and over again. And the time crunch is getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. We just rebooted Captain America after 13 issues just so they could get back to a number 1 issue and charge you $6 again.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, they brought in, a writer, a real writer.
First time in several years, yes.
First time in several years. So, he's probably making a pretty good page rate, I would think. So, maybe it is a little bit more justified. But the continual rebooting of things to a new number 1, it's become less of a jumping on point for readers and more of a jumping off point. If you've been collecting Captain America for years, at some point you just got to go, I can't keep doing this. Why am I even doing this anymore? And you get out. So it's not bringing in enough new people. You get a retailer bump, but it's not really resulting in readership bumps. They go after those variant covers for the number 1, and then they're stuck with a lot of product. And, you're going to be picking up these issues in the dollar bin, for months and months and months in the future. They're just going to be sitting there rotting because they had to order so many to get a couple of variants. It's everything that they're doing is short-sighted, short-term gain. And none of the leadership, either at Marvel or DC, is looking at the long-time building of the readership, the long-time restoration of the industry. They're just like, what do we need to do to get through the next month?
Yeah, and it's crazy. You mentioned, the comic book retailer. Yes, a lot of times they're overextending on their order to get to those ratio variant covers. They want to get those ratio variants because they have people that will pay, $20 for, 25 to 1, maybe $50 for 50 to 1, $100, kind of like that. And they can make their money back. But it also costs you time and space to just hold on to, 500 comic books that you didn't sell because you will only sell the ratio variant covers. That actually takes up space in your warehouse. That's rent that you're paying on comic books that nobody actually wants to buy. And like you said, you end up in a dollar bin, and most of the time nobody even wants those books in the modern dollar bin.
No, and a lot of retailers don't think that. They don't factor into their thinking. They think, I paid this much for this comic. But now these comics are taking up this much square footage in your store, and you're paying rent on it every month. So it's not just that you bought the comic from Marvel, it's that you're now paying for it again and again. And every time you have to pay an employee to move it, to touch it, every time that book is even touched, you're paying more for it. So what do? You have to either dump these things for nothing, which devalues the market, of course, because it's obviously nobody wants this crap, and then people realize it. And if there's no buzz, if there's no desire created in people to go and collect these things, if they realize that they're just garbage, and you're seeing this in the toy market right now with a lot of figures going to Ollie's and things like that. People aren't buying them when they first come out because they know they're going to get them cheaper, even if they do want them. So, it's just another self-fulfilling prophecy. They're whittling away and whittling away and whittling away at the foundation of the industry, at the foundation of the sales. They're killing the retailers, but the retailers are also partly culpable because they've kept falling for these schemes. And it seems like finally retailers are waking up and they're saying, I'm not ordering this. And that's what's actually gotten CB Cebulski to, get off of his foodie website and actually pay attention to Marvel's business.
And you mentioned Ollie's there, which, I've definitely noticed a trend where smart people that don't want to afford these prices, you just wait it out. You go to Ollie's and you buy the $5 mystery bag. Hell, you can get a 25-to-1 variant cover in there. Yeah,
no, you absolutely can, because that's just where these things end up. Like right now, we don't have any Ollie's out in Southern California, which, kills me. But we have Ross, we have Marshalls, we have TJ Maxx, all these closeout stores, DD's discounts. And you're seeing, you're seeing all kinds of toys show up there, and every now and then you actually see graphic novels show up there. You see, like, in the book section, you'll get some omnibus or some trades. They don't get a lot of that stuff, but it does show up, and I know it shows up in mass at Ollie's. So it's just warehouses and warehouses of stuff that's getting dumped for nothing. They're producing all this product that there is not a market.
So what's your idea of this? Like I said, you've worked for local comic book shops. You've been in the industry for a long time. This doesn't feel viable to me. There has to be a breaking point. What is the breaking point on the minimum price? Is it $5? Is it $6?
I think it's $5. I think $5 is where most people are going to check out, and it goes higher than that. I think that's just going to happen even quicker. I know that there's very few comic books that I'd be willing to pay $5 for at this point. Very, very few. Especially at the big two. Like, there's maybe one Marvel book that I'll spend anything on, and and DC, I'm not reading anything from DC right now. I got out of Batman once we hit some terrible terrible Batman in space coming.
So you didn't make it to Gotham War. It was him surfing space.
God, I did not make it to Gotham War because I've seen you review it, and I've seen you guys talk about it, and well, why would I pay for that? I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't pay $5 for that. I wouldn't pay $4.99. I wouldn't pay $3.99.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you mentioned the $5 thing, and the average price for Marvel right now is $4.75. Definitely creeping up there, and I would imagine sometime in 2024 they'll be eclipsing that $5 thing. And for $5, you might be able to buy Spider-Man. For $5, you might be able to buy a Star Wars comic book, but you're not going to get a #1 issue from Marvel Comics unless it's Moon Girl or something like that. You're not going to be able to get, an anniversary issue or anything that even feels like it's important for $5. They're always going to throw another tax on you for liking the characters. It's the being a good customer and loving their universe tax. They're going to take it out of your ass rather than realizing they made some mistakes.
Yeah, it used to be, make mine Marvel, and now it seems like, the slogan is F you, we're Marvel. Just eat the slop, pigs. It's really unfortunate. I think we are going to see a huge collapse in the comic book market. I mean, obviously, we're already seeing a massive contraction. It's gotten to the point that even the shill pros who've been saying that things are great, it's the best comic time ever. Even they're starting to grumble on their social media. So the fact that it's now safe to say these things, as opposed to just, guys like you and I saying it and then getting called all kinds of names online, the fact that it's now safe for pros to say that the industry is in trouble, I think just indicates how bad things have gotten.
Yeah, if they don't get this insane pricing under control, there might not be an industry to save it. It feels like I'm being exceptionally hyperbolic, but I don't feel like I am.
Yeah, no, how are you bringing in new readers? No, nobody's going to gamble $6, $7, $10 on a new comic. If you're walking in the door and you're like, boy, I'd like to read some comics. And then you look at the pricing. You're like, why would I, for this? Like, why would I spend this much money? And kids, you can't reach kids anymore. The comics aren't written for kids. They're not in places that kids can find them unless they're going to a comic book store to find Pokemon cards. So you're not getting kids in there. And kids look at that value that's like, hey, I got my allowance. I got $10. What can I get? I can get like 3 or 4 packs of Pokemon cards to play with my friends, or I can buy this one comic. What are you gonna do? You're getting like, that's an easy choice for a kid. You're like, well, I'm getting 4 of this, 4 packs of this, which have a variety of cards, and some of those cards might actually be worth something, or I can buy this comic that's going to be in the dollar bin in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scarier having a comic book YouTube channel. Thinking about transitioning, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hold firm, Aaron, because I still have the slightest sliver of hope that things can be fixed, maybe eventually.
As the ship sinks beneath the waves, you'll be standing on the bow, just
going down with the Titanic.
Yep.
That might be what it is.
Oh, I hate to see it.
Me too, buddy.
But other than that, you love to see it. Like, here's the thing. I don't want, we talk about this all the time, and it seems like we're really cynical about the state of comics, but the state of comics is miserable. We want to be excited about comics. We want to come back every month and tell you, like, oh my God, comics are so good. You guys have got to get into it. But the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, we're here to be honest. We're here to give you our honest opinion. And our honest opinion is this thing's going down, man.
Absolutely. And if people want more of our honest opinion, Aaron, this is not the end of the show. This is really just the first 15, 20 minutes. We go a full 2 hours with this Geek Fix, but you got to go over to Patreon.
That is true. That is all of the crazy stuff we're going to talk about is over on Patreon. We don't want to paywall everything. Obviously, we still want to bring you free premium content. But if you're looking for a little something extra, we do have a Patreon. You can join and be a member and get some cool exclusive stuff.
Absolutely. The long form content, when I say long form, anything over 15 or 20 minutes can be detrimental to a YouTube channel. I found that one out the hard way. So what we're doing is concentrating on longer stuff, a minimum 1 hour, normally upwards of 2 hours, with you, Doc, and Jim, to where you can really get in on that and really make it worth your while, get some bang for your buck. Plus, you get all the audio files for all the videos on the channel. So if you prefer to just listen to it, and YouTube absolutely sucks for that unless you got YouTube Premium, you can come over, join, and just download the files and listen to it like a podcast.
Yeah. So you're at the gym, you're driving along, stuck in holiday traffic. You can listen to your old pals, Wes and Aaron.
Worst things to do.